Hi guys, today we're going to talk about Barry and Honey Sherman. Hey guys, Victoria Paxton here. Thanks for stopping back by my YouTube channel. Alright, so you already saw the title, Barry and Honey Sherman. These are my opinions. This is for entertainment purposes only. Don't sue me. These are my opinions, okay? Don't sue me. I don't need to be sued by a bunch of millionaires. I'm sorry, billionaires. And please do not sue me, okay? This is a really sad one, okay? I know I say that every time, but this genuinely is like so pathetic. And yeah, so like, share, subscribe. It's free. Let's get going. So here we go. First thing I'm going to say is rich people are cocky. Remember that, and we'll talk about that later, okay? Rich people are cocky. On December 15th of 2017, the 12th richest people in Canada, Barry and Honey Sherman, were found dead. They lived in Toronto in a mansion that was up for sale. Barry and Honey met in 1970. They married in 1971. 4 kids, all grown adults. Okay. So they were found hung and their bodies were staged on a railing next to their indoor swimming pool. Like I said, their house was up for sale. Okay, that'll come into play later. Okay, so let's get going here, guys. All right, so there are 3 working theories about this case. Okay, the first one being that their kids did it. The Shermans had a turbulent relationship with each other, but everything seemed okay between them at the time of their death. The estate was split equally between the kids, and the kids proceeded to hire a private investigator to look into the case. They hired like an entire team. All right, second theory. Honey Sherman was a racist. This one just makes no sense to me. Relatives of the Shermans described Honey as a woman who didn't care about political correctness and openly used derogatory language towards people of Middle Eastern descent, Arabic, and Muslim backgrounds. The home they were assassinated in was under construction at the time, with many ethnically diverse people frequently coming and going. Okay, one theory to support this is the Shermans employed a full staff in their home, including a concierge, and they were notoriously lazy about security, often not even turning on their cameras or activating their alarms. The killers appeared to know this in the layout of the home. What makes this theory unlikely is that Honey is believed to have been the intended target, but just ended up being there at the wrong time. She wasn't the intended target. She was there at the wrong time, wrong place type of deal. Okay, theory number 3. Barry Sherman owed $1 billion to pharmaceutical companies that he was refusing to pay. He would have easily been able to keep these fees tied up in the legal system until he expired naturally. I mean, he was 75 years old, so it's not like he had 400 years left, you know what I mean? He was becoming obstinate as a leader and a CEO, and he was not well liked to the company, and he was refusing to retire. The fees were the result of Barry's drug company refusing to pay royalties for selling no-name brand drugs. Okay, so here we go. The Shermans were last seen alive on December 13th at Apotex headquarters, where they were going over design changes to a new house they were building. By the way, Apotex is the name of the company that Barry owned. Okay, Ms. Sherman was preparing to visit Miami several days later, and Mr. Sherman planned to join her a week after her departure. When he returned home that day, Mr. Sherman sent a routine email to his staff, but did not call anyone, which his employees thought was odd because he reportedly suffered from insomnia and would email and call all hours of the night. The couple's bodies were discovered by a real estate agent showing up to the Sherman's home on December 15th, so 2 days after they were last seen. Both of their necks had been tied with leather belts to a metal railing that surrounded their indoor swimming pool. Mr. Sherman was in a seated position with his legs crossed, and Ms. Sherman was laying on her side with a bruise on her face. A window in the house had been left open to air out the room that had just been painted, and a basement door was unlocked, which was a common practice for the couple. Those details could account for why there was no sign of forced entry when the police checked. Shortly after the investigation began, Toronto police revealed they were considering, quote, a murder-suicide motive for the killings, which prompted sharp criticism from the couple's 4 children. They demanded the police investigate the deaths as a criminal investigation. Here's the other thing. It would be really hard to kill your wife, stage her body, then strangle yourself and stage your body. I mean, he had a belt around it, so how? Like, that doesn't make any sense. The Sherman children became increasingly critical of the police response to the murders, prompting them to hire outside investigators and lawyers to look into the deaths. Rich people are cocky, y'all. In February 2018, CBC News reported that one of the Sherman children, Jonathan, had hired retired Toronto Police Inspector Doug Grady to continue the investigation into the parents' death. Rich people are cocky. That move prompted a schism between himself and his siblings, and the other 3 siblings publicly distanced themselves from the independent investigation. A second autopsy put the murder-suicide theory to rest. In December of 2021, police in Toronto released a video image of a man that they suspected may have been involved in the murders. Police said, quote, we had this individual coming into a very defined area around the Sherman's household and remaining in that area for a period of time and then leaving from that area. In our exhaustive video canvas, we were able to get images from nearby on either side and around the Sherman household. And this individual walks into that area, doesn't continue to walk through, but remains in the area, not covered by video footage, and remains in there and then comes back sometime later, close quote. The suspect is between 5'6" 3/4 inches and 5'9.5" inches. The individual also has an unusual walking style, police said. He swings his right foot out. So his left foot's going straight, his right foot kind of goes out to the right side. Police said they have interviewed approximately 250 witnesses and they've received 1,255 tips from the public. Wow, that's a lot. Sherman had a reputation as a ruthless business competitor who had enemies. At the time of his death, he was linked to a number of investigations and lawsuits, as well as decades-long family feud with cousins over what they believed to be their stakes in his company, which he had purchased years before from their father. Okay, so rich people are cocky, y'all. Let's start there, okay? So I attempted to connect with Honey. I was not able to connect with Honey. I was able to connect with Barry. So let me start by saying I explained who I was, and, I just wanted to question him and talk about, the end of his life. And, he seemed like a very nice person. He was talking about his grandchild. He was talking about his kids that he missed, and that his wife was there with him, and that they were happy and doing well and thriving, is what he said. He also proceeded to tell me that he basically said, look, I wasn't always the best person. He said I was very cunning, very ruthless. He said, while Honey and I donated millions of dollars to different charities, and I will say they donated a ton of money to different Jewish charities. They were awesome about donating their money. He said, while we donated tons of money to various charities of our choice, he said that he did quite a few things that he was not proud of. And I just left it there. I don't know exactly what that means, but he wasn't wanting to discuss that anymore. So we just kind of left that there. Yeah. So when we started to get to what happened at the end of his life, he began shaking his head and put his head down, and he was like, I should have listened to Honey. I knew I should have listened to Honey. And he said that quite a few times, and he said, I should have listened to her. He said that he had went to a particular family member 3 weeks prior, but he said okay, let's back up a little bit. So 8 weeks prior to his death, he had went to a particular family member and kind of started nudging that family member saying, you know, you probably need to start repaying me some of that money. Okay. I know everybody's going to think at this point that's done any kind of research on this case that it was his cousin, Carrie, I believe was his name. That's not who we're talking about here. Okay. Again, this is all my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. I don't want to get sued, y'all. But okay, let's get back. So he said, then his wife said, look, you need to go to him and you need to get this money back. So 3 weeks prior to the death. So then several weeks after he initially said something, he went and said, look, I'm not kidding around. He said, look, I'm not kidding around. Honey and I are dead serious here. You need to repay this money. And this person said, well, I don't have access to the money. You know, I don't have access. And he said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but Honey's really upset. So you need to get this money back to us. He went on to talk about, which I'm purposely not saying who this person is. Okay. It wouldn't take too much research to discover who I'm talking about. Okay. But I'm intentionally not saying it. I don't want to get sued, y'all. And I don't want to get killed either. And these people are ruthless. Some of them. Rich people are cocky, y'all. So when I say rich people are cocky, this particular person helped to hire outside people to discover what happened to Barry and Honey. Okay. That's how cocky these people are. So this person does that, hires somebody, while really he was part of why these people were killed. Okay. So I asked about, did this person commit the murders? And he said, no. He knew the man that killed them. He said, we weren't best friends. We didn't deal with each other on a regular basis. But I did know who he was. Okay. Again, it wouldn't take too much to figure out who I'm talking about here. So there was a lot of small talk, and then he kind of pulled back, and that was it, and he was gone. So what can we take away from this? The police literally, okay, it's been years, 4 years, 5 years, since they were murdered. And the police literally just came out with the video of a suspect walking this last December of 2021. So in my personal opinion, based on what Barry was saying, I feel like the police, I think they know exactly who hired this person to kill them. Okay, I think they know that part. The problem is I don't think they necessarily know the person, the man who carried out the job. Okay, do I think this man will be arrested? The man who physically did the murders? Yes, I do. Do I think this other person that's rich and cocky who set this up, do I think he's going to be arrested? I don't see that happening, sadly. Another footnote I wanted to add. So Barry and Honey had these life-size sculptures in their family room that they had had since the 80s. And interestingly enough, when the bodies were staged, they sure did look like those two statues in the family room. I wanted to add that. The other thing, they had cameras. They weren't on. The one in the pool area apparently didn't even work. But that's the thing about this case. Anybody that was close to this family knew they didn't turn the cameras on, knew half the time they didn't even lock the damn doors, right? So obviously the person that sent that person into that house knew very specific details. For example, Honey parked her car in this one little driveway area and walked in this little side door. Whereas her husband took the ramp down to the basement and parked his little convertible Mustang, which was a cute little Mustang. I'm a Mustang girl. Parked his Mustang down there, and then he came into the residence through that door. So the murderer knew, you know, exactly which door they were coming into, and I, you know, caught them by surprise. Here was the other thing. So, you know, the police have said that this was a very private, personal murders. These were private, personal murders, which means they knew these people. It wasn't some, you know, hired mob guy who came in and whacked them. You know what I mean? It was very personal. Honey had bruises on her face. I feel like maybe the bruises came because she fought. You know, she seemed like a pretty feisty person. So, whereas Barry didn't fight. There weren't, well, I don't know that he didn't fight, but there were no bruises on his face, okay? It's just a sad case all around. Like, you have to, your heart has to hurt for this realtor, you know, who she's just doing her damn job, right? She's taking a family to go see this nice $1 million home. She's thinking, oh, I'm going to get paid some serious money if they buy this home. That's so cool. And bam, she finds these 2 dead bodies. Like, you got to feel bad for her, you know? She didn't sign up for that kind of crap. If you're a cop, if you're, you know, an EMT, if you're a nurse, if you're a coroner, like, you signed up for that. You signed up to see dead bodies. This poor woman didn't sign up for this, you know? So, yeah, this is just a sad case, you guys. I hope that I said everything I wanted to say in here. Again, my opinions. Be nice, be kind, stay safe, stay healthy. Call your mom, make sure she's okay. Call your pops up, make sure he's okay. Tell the people that you're close to that you love them, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring in this world, especially with what's going on in this world. There goes my phone, like clockwork. Yeah, that about does it for me. Oh, wait. Don't forget about Friday Night Live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same bat channel, on my YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay, so that about does it for me. Bye, guys.